Hey everybody, welcome back. Glad to see you. Sorry for the delay. So we put out 3 short videos last week to introduce people that have no clue who Steely Dan is. And the reason is that it's because some of the hottest guitar players, session musicians that played on hundreds, if not thousands of different tracks on different albums, played most of the solos after the first few years. Steely Dan had a band in the beginning. Denny Diaz, not sure if I'm saying that last name correctly, right? Absolutely right. And Jeff Skunk Baxter were basically the original guitar players that played on, I believe, the first 2, maybe into the 3rd album, Pretzel Logic. And they probably started putting in other guitarists also, because they just like to have different styles, and they just really had to hear creative guitarists try and put solos into their songs that they just felt that they nailed it, and it was just like the perfect solo. So I played little pieces of 3 last week from Reelin' in the Years, first album by Steely Dan, and then I did part of the solo in Kid Charlemagne, which was their 4th album. And that was Larry Carlton, who played some tremendous solos on that album and others. And what was the last one I did? Also, from the same album, Kid Charlemagne, Don't Take Me Alive, another Larry Carlton solo. And Larry Carlton solos were just like really crazy and amazing. And if you haven't heard about Larry Carlton, he's got solo albums that are really great. And he also has some times with the Crusaders, which was like a jazz, funky, fusion type instrumental band that had a great keyboard player, Joe Sample, saxophone player, might have been Wilton Felder. That might be right. But he spent some time with them and has some really cool songs. So I'm going to play a little bit more. I'm going to go from, and I mean, a lot of times, you wonder, what are they doing? Well, they're utilizing a pentatonic, Dorian scale, blues scale. They may even, do a little bit of chromaticism in there. The song Kid Charlemagne is in A minor. It's basically like a... So Larry Carlton starts out playing, pentatonic in A minor, and then he just gets into some other little bit of chromaticism or just some other off of the normal pentatonic box, and maybe adding some Dorian notes in there from the full scale. So we're going to try and just play it. I haven't played this in a band ever, and sometimes I nail it, and sometimes I'm just a little off. So we'll see what we get today. So, yeah, a little shaky, not as good as I've played it in the past. Little things, a little rough there, but it's not an easy solo to play, and some people won't even try. So he's playing pentatonic, then he goes up to this position, and then he just kind of goes off a little bit. And then he's back in the pentatonic box after that. So we're up there. It's pretty much still in the pentatonic box a little bit because we're playing in this position where if you're playing all the way up past the 12th fret, same as down on the 5th fret, and then you've got this part, which is pentatonic. So what is it? So he's definitely using some different variations and some of the pentatonic boxes that we don't always use. You know, a lot of times it's so easy when you're playing in A minor just to keep, you know, where you're comfortable with that pentatonic box. And then you get up to the place where it's always, the blues guys are playing in 8th fret and when they're in A minor. So anyway, Steely Dan. I'm going to just do the other solo Larry Carlton does because I did a piece of it, and it's really such a cool one. Don't Take Me Alive from Steely Dan's Kid Charlemagne album. Okay, a little rough, but you got to play these solos all the time and play them in your band, and you got to really work on them to keep them sharp because they're not just that easy. They're not like Tom Petty. It's really sophisticated stuff. That's why it's so important for you to discover Steely Dan. Not only was there Denny Diaz, Skunk Baxter, Larry Carlton, Rick Derringer played on some tunes. Jay Graydon played on some of it. I believe Mark Knopfler was on it a little bit on one album, Gaucho, and I think they took out his part. They didn't think he really played it, well enough. Another solo, Jay Graydon. I don't have it completely down, but he had a solo like, what the hell is he doing? And when I figured it out, it was like... A little rough again, but like I said, I'm just pulling them out of the head, out of my brain that, I haven't refined. And, if you want perfect, go check out Marty. He'll give it to you perfect. But we're just like talking about music and just ways to keep developing you, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, or things that you can do to keep getting better. And Steely Dan is one place to go. When I just, worked on Reeling in the Years. Oh, what's the ending? Then you're getting more in major pentatonic because you're playing over G major to A major. major pentatonic. So, just getting you into the Steely Dan vibe. Check them out. Check out their albums. They're unique. It's jazz. It's rock. It's horns. It's great backup vocal, and it's really cool song writing. Very unique. Very keyboard oriented and horns. Great guitar solos. When the guitarists play, they're playing bits and pieces of chords, mostly. They're not playing the chords that much on their songs. They're doing tasty licks, double stops, different slides, different techniques. Just a great band to become a better guitar player and, open up your ears to a whole different type of music. Hope you enjoyed this video. The short ones in the week prior. If you like what I'm doing, tips are always cool. Anybody needs private lessons, we can do that on Zoom or some other means of FaceTime or whatever. We'll see you next time. Bye.